hot yai fried chicken, my way. Southern Thai fried chicken. There's some interesting things about it. One of the things I see is that you're making a paste for the chicken. There's no other fried chicken in the world that makes a paste for the fried chicken. Let's just say before I met this fried chicken lover, I thought of the idea, but I thought I would burn a part of the paste, if I did that idea. This dish proved me wrong. I'm pretty sure no other part of the world is making fried chicken using a paste. I'll talk about it a little bit more later. 3 medium large garlic cloves, the fresh stuff. You can use the powdered stuff if you want. I'm just glad I'm getting the full flavor of the garlic. As the garlic sits in the marinade, the garlic flavor is just gonna get stronger and stronger and stronger. Cilantro stem, I love this ingredient. It just brings a lot of flavor on its own. Stems of herbs bring a decent amount of flavor if you know how to use them, especially cilantro stem. A little over 2 teaspoons, 11, 12 grams. When cilantro stems are browned, the flavor is so nice. You do need a mortar and pestle. You can use a food processor, but you are gonna have to add some water. You are gonna add water even if you use this. We're gonna do the spices. I want to embrace all of southern Thailand, which means I'm using a decent amount of spices. I much prefer all the whole spices and fresh components. Use dried or ground if you have to. This and the next spice are very essential to the southern Thai fried chicken, I believe. I believe so. 1 teaspoon white pepper, coriander seed, black pepper, 4th cumin seed, and turmeric after you break down the other spices, as I'm doing now. Now just pound and grind these until as fine as possible. There's your turmeric. Add your cilantro stem. You can thinly slice the garlic, but I didn't. Slightly overfilled 4th teaspoon coarse salt. I would break this down a decent amount. I will get it pretty smooth. And there you go, that's what I go. 1 tablespoon fish sauce. On top of that, I'm using Red Boat, which is a fish sauce that's pretty strong in flavor. Soy sauce. They're adding so much flavor and mouthfeel to this dish. It's just crazy. 4th cup of water. And I would just mix that with the paste. I much prefer dry brines outside of buttermilk marinades or fried chicken. Since this is so concentrated, the salt doesn't have a lot of places to go. It's gonna penetrate into that chicken a lot faster. The perks of a wet brine, since it's gonna be prepared like fried chicken, not roasted, browning the crust of that fried chicken is not gonna be that hard due to the temperatures and the amount of time it's spending in the oil. Also, the 1 teaspoon of sugar I forgot to add, and the sugars from the soy sauce and fish sauce. Also, according to America's Test Kitchen and On Food and Cooking, the science and lore of the kitchen, by Harold McGee. To summarize, the meat that's sitting in the marinade absorbs the moisture from it. Here would be the liquid of the water, the soy sauce, and the fish sauce. So that will allow it to be juicier. Now the flavor of the moisture, I'm not sure. But every time I bite into the Southern Thai fried chicken, I think the flavors on the outside just carry out for some reason. But that makes it juicier. Once I bite into the fried chicken, you get a crunch and you get hit by so much flavor. Not a big crunch. Once you're done biting through, you chew. Flavors start to sit in there and they start to meld. They start to mellow out, but still stay quite strong. It lingers and combines with the juiciness of the chicken. The experience is so great. 1.2 to 1.4 pounds of bone-in chicken. Most common is leg quarters, chicken thigh, and drumsticks. Those drumsticks, about 2 or 3 half-inch incisions like that, so that when it contracts, it's much easier to evenly cook it, so that you can reach every part of the drumstick. Same thing with quarters, both sides. You want to do one side on top, one side on bottom. For thigh, cut some of the meat away from the bone, most of it, cut down, cut around the bone on both sides, even it out. Doing all this for your chicken allows it to cook even. You'll be cooking it longer if you don't do that. That is the amount you want to cut down. Leave a skin on and leave the bone on. Those will act as protection. Prevent moisture from leaving the flesh into the oil. The flour we're adding later will do that too. Extra layers. Get you a bowl, chicken in it, put your marinade, mix the coat. Some of those bits you saw, make sure that gets under the skin. Make sure every part of that chicken is in that wet brine. Let's sit at least 30 minutes. Cover, put it in the fridge. Let's sit up to 24 hours. Get your preferred frying vessel, couple cups of oil, neutral flavor. Now get this on a medium heat. Let that oil come up to 350. I want you to combine 20 grams of rice flour and cornstarch. That's 1/4 cup of rice flour, 2 tablespoons cornstarch. Cornstarch has more starch molecules than rice flour. You'll see my potato starch is better than cornstarch video. Let's just say in this situation, cornstarch makes things crispier. This fried chicken is not supposed to be super crispy. So here it's more for a texture standpoint and to add slightly more to it. You can just do rice flour. If you want, add baking powder. Set up your fry station. You're over there for a reason. The flour and starch get on my phone. I don't want salmonella on it. Take your flour. Now I would add 80% of it. Mix the coat. You want a pretty thick batter. You want it really attached to the chicken. To be honest, I don't even go for a batter. I just add all the flour. I want a pretty thick coat and coating every part of the chicken because it allows the pieces of the marinade to attach to the chicken. When you do a batter, depending on how thin or thick it is, it kind of just gives you one thin, even layer. This somewhat gives you a slightly thicker layer, giving a little bit more crunch, a little bit more something to bite on. Make sure your chicken is flat. This is how it should look. Take your chicken, lay it skin side down. I lay in 3 at a time. That does drop down the temperature a lot. What I would do, for the first 2 minutes, check the temperature. If it's lower than 300, up the heat, get it to 300, and then maintain. My cheap thermometer is not working, so it's all up to skill and luck right now. I will cook this for 10 to 15 minutes. Every 2 minutes, flip it. If you just let it fry on one side, it'll burn. Remember, the source of the heat is from the bottom of the pan. That's where it's the hottest. Let it sit there too long, it's gonna burn. Your thighs should be 170 or 180. That's when the muscle tissues break down and it leaves you with very tender chicken. Drumsticks 170. Quarters I would go with thigh meat. They should look like this. Nice and golden brown. Slight reddish hue to it in some spots. Let those cool for 5-10 minutes. Eat it with chili sauce and sticky rice. I'm gonna plate up. Almost forgot fried shallots. If you saw my last video, I just put those on top. Now coming from southern Thailand,